Once you're truly able to let go, everything really starts to flow in your life. But the problem is that most people don't actually understand what letting go means. And it's been very rare that I've seen anyone describe it in a way that actually makes sense for people. Most of the time when people tell you to let go, they're really just further confusing you because they don't actually understand what it means. And so in this video, I'm really just going to sit you down and talk about letting go, what it actually means in your life, and how it's one of the core keys to creating your desired reality. So the first thing you need to understand about letting go is that it's not actually something that your mind can do. Most of the time when people hear things like let go or accept or surrender, they go, okay, well, I got to do this thing, this teacher told me or Dave told me that I got to let go. And so you get into your mind and you start thinking about it. You start thinking, okay, well, I need to let go, but how do I let go? What do I need to do to let go? Can you give me the 1, 2, 3 step plan to make sure that I'm letting go the best I possibly can? And that is the problem, is that the term letting go sounds like an action that you're doing. And that's why I actually really hate the terms letting go, acceptance, and surrender. Because all of these things give your mind or your ego a directive. Your thoughts will latch onto it and it will say, okay, this is the key. I just gotta, let go, detach from the outcome, and everything will come flowing towards me. The gates of wealth will open up. And by the way, just for context, when I'm talking about acceptance, surrender, letting go, detaching from the outcome, to me, they all mean the exact same thing. They're all bringing you to the same place that I'm trying to guide you to in this video. So in my personal opinion, what I think is a far more effective way to understand what these terms really mean is to, instead of thinking of it as something that you do, that you implement, think about it as stopping or ceasing to do something that you're already doing. So for example, instead of me telling you to surrender, I could tell you to just stop fighting. Instead of telling you to accept, I could tell you to stop resisting. And instead of telling you to let go, I could tell you to stop holding on. Because really, what the deeper truth behind letting go is you're letting go of this constant little doer and efforter that is constantly trying to control your experience, that is constantly resisting what is here now and trying to pull some future reality towards you. Because both these acts of either resisting or trying to cling to something is creating tension within you. I'm actually just going to stand up because I'm sitting on a log right now, and it actually hurts the keister. So I'm just going to stand up for a second and talk about this. But the point is that the actual act of resisting itself, or the act of constantly trying to get somewhere else in your life, is a state of not letting go. Right? You're not in a state of let go in that place. You're also not in the moment because you're either resisting the moment as it's arising, or you're constantly looking to some future moment where everything will be great. But when you start to relax this efforter or this doer inside that's constantly trying to be other than or get other than what is happening now, then you begin to relax into the moment. And you begin to become more and more in touch with your space of being. And when I say space of being, I mean this awareness that you are, that is constantly seeing this mind and your emotions. This awareness becomes very masked by this constant need to control the way things are inside of yourself right now. And when someone gives you a pointer like, oh, just let go, bro, or just detach from the outcome. You go into your mind with the efforter and you try to make it happen. And this is just preventing you from relaxing into the moment and just enjoying what's here now in front of you. Now, I'm not saying that you can't create your desired reality from this place. I'm not saying that you can't direct your experience in the way you want it to go. Really, this state of just being here now, relaxed in the moment, and enjoying what's in front of you is the absolute highest state to create your desired reality from. Because when you really think about where you're trying to go in life, the place that you're trying to get to, you're trying to get to a place of peace. You're trying to get to a place of ease and relaxation inside of yourself. That is what you think that these materialistic things or whatever desire you have will give you. And so the actual as-if state that people talk about, right, act as if you don't feel abundant now, if you're living in a constant place of lack where someday in the future I'm going to get to where I want to go, but it's not here right now, then you're constantly living in a place of not enough. And really it becomes a paradox. Because if someone tells you to let go or to surrender or to detach from the outcome and you start trying to do it, then that means inherently you are not detached or you haven't let go. Because if you were truly let go, then you wouldn't need to try to let go. You just wouldn't care in the first place. Right? It's the same thing with detachment. I don't need to try to detach from the fact that I'm in the woods right now or that there's trees around me. I'm just in a natural space of allowing whatever is around me to currently be. I'm sure if a black bear came out of nowhere right now, heaven forbid, that would be really, really bad. As there's one like creeping up behind me, imagine. But I'm sure if a black bear came up behind me right now, it's really going to get my attention and get me to start freaking out in my mind and resisting, or in this case, kind of bad analogy because I would just be running for the hills. But the point is that when people give you terms or they say to you, you just need to let go, bro, but they don't actually explain to you the nuances behind what this means, then it can become very confusing. And the reason I know this is because this is what happened to me. I tried for many, many years to detach from the outcome and let go. And really, it only made me more attached and more tense. But when I stopped trying to make this constant effort to do anything about what was going on, in the sense of, if I felt attached, I just let it be so. I'm not trying to change the way I naturally feel. Because if attachment is arising, or if resistance is arising, the more you resist the attachment or resist the resistance, the worse it becomes. It just amplifies the situation. But when you just fully allow it to be as it is, and welcome it like a friend, it starts to dissolve in your experience. It doesn't have the same amount of weight that it used to have over you. And so I think a way better way to say letting go is letting be. Like the Beatles, the classic Let It Be, they already had this stuff figured out 70 years ago, or in the 1970s, not 70 years ago, maybe 1960. Anyway, don't quote me on when the Beatles came out with Let It Be. I think it was the 70s, but amazing song. And I think that Let It Be is a much better way of describing what people mean when they talk about letting go or surrender or acceptance. And my interpretation of let it be is just to leave it alone. If there's thoughts coming up, if there's emotions coming up that are unwanted or that you don't like, if you feel attached and you feel like, I want this thing really bad, just let it be or leave it alone. You don't need to do anything about it. And from this place, you can start to sink back into this more open and aware space. This kind of relaxed awareness that is able to be here now and be present with your thoughts and emotions. And from this place of just like enjoying the moment, sinking into this experience as it is now, and starting to love your life as it is now, before the thing has actually came to you, this is a place where you really start to rise up in state. You start to get more into a state of flow. Inspirations and ideas start coming towards you. You're more easily able to just take action and do the thing because you're not always in your mind and caught up in all this resistance. And it takes a lot of energy to stay in this place of constantly, monitoring and controlling and resisting your experience. So when you cease to do this, your energy levels really start to rise up. You start to have a lot more energy towards the things that you care about. And from this space, you can much more easily act as if and start really embodying and thinking the types of thoughts that the person you want to become would think. And this is because in this state of letting go or letting be, you become open to what's going on inside of you, and you just become more aware of what's happening, your thoughts and emotions. And from this place of awareness, you can start to see all these old patterns arising in you. This old conditioning that you've been buying into and believing that's been keeping you stuck in life, keeping you stuck as the same version of yourself. And when you realize that you are the awareness or the space in which all these thoughts and emotions arise, you can start to see that old conditioning and that old self as what it is, which is just an old program, an old computer program. And a program can be rewritten and changed. But of course, you cannot change what you're not conscious of. And that's the thing, is that these thoughts of ours, our mind, it is coming up with very compelling stories and narratives about ourselves. And a lot of these negative beliefs that you hold, these old past patterns of thoughts about yourself, they're so ingrained in us and they're so, close and believable that they just come up and we start following them and believing them without even taking a moment to question, is this thought true, or is it just my past conditioning? And when you begin to see this voice in your head clearly for what it actually is, which is a computer program, it has been programmed throughout your life to say certain thoughts about you, about yourself, what you're capable of. And when you really start to wake up outside of it and begin to be able to watch the mind without being sucked into what it's saying and believing in it, once you start to disidentify from this mind and not treat it as you or who you are, that is when you can start really choosing the types of thoughts that you want to think. Because you're not getting pulled into the old self and the old way of being. And now that you see it as code, just a programming in your brain, you can start to think, okay, but who do I actually want to be? What is the version of myself I want to show up as? But without this deeper understanding that I've talked about in this video, about what letting go really means, and about not constantly being in resistance to your experience, then this becomes much harder to do. Anyways, I hope this helped.